Welcome, everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching. Uh, Sorry, running just a tad bit late here, but we're getting going. We have 6 bags to open up today. 6 bags is quite a bit more than we normally have. I think last week we had 5, and we did really well out of those 5. So maybe with 6, we can do even better. All right, so sorry about that. Just had to get some stuff straightened out. I think we're good to go. But anyway, we got 6 bags here. We'll give it just a minute for anyone to get on that wants to get on as we sort of get set up. We've been really busy here, not necessarily entirely with thrifting. A lot of stuff going on in our world. Just currently renovating a house, so stuff like that's all getting in the uh, getting part of the process of all of it. So anyway, I want to introduce you guys to somebody. If you guys follow on the Instagram, we got this little lady here. This is going to be a subject of a video in the future. This is Knickerbocker, which was a promotional Levi's piece, at least in the 70s, potentially. It's possible, I think it's also in the 60s, and maybe even in the 50s. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't gotten the whole story yet. But pick this one up on eBay, not from the thrift store. I wish I had found one myself, but it is a big E orange tab. So unless they were just using these big E's for promotional purposes late into the 70s, should be a sort of turn of the decade there during the transitional big E era. So this is a really cool little piece. We will be doing a video on this as I get all the facts and research sort of squared away, because promotional pieces like this are really interesting. Um, and There's a lot of cool history and collectability in some of these. So anyway, um, we did cross over 2,000 subscribers, which is unbelievable to me. That just seems wild that we crossed over 2,000 subscribers. Um, we've been growing like crazy. A lot of the videos that we have for like Levi's and stuff have been blowing up. So that really is like the bulk of probably how many of you guys even found this channel. But one of the things we've been doing since pretty much since the beginning is open up these rag bags. So let's go ahead and get started with opening the rag bags. We have a lot of them. This one started to rip, so we're going to start with this guy right here. If you're unfamiliar with this series of videos, that light is like really bright. I buy these bags from local thrift stores who typically just take T-shirts they can't sell, they're not allowed to sell, or something. Oh, we got an Ed Sheeran tee, not vintage or anything like that, but Ed Sheeran. I don't know if that's worth anything. I don't really know if I know any serious Ed Sheeran fans. But we take these bags that they generally intend to be purchased by like mechanic shops and used for cleanup rags for, oh, this is disgusting, to clean up like oil spills and stuff. And so I buy them and search them for vintage tees that have any value. And oh, okay, I don't know if has any value per se, but it is a Lego Star Wars Boba Fett the Bounty Hunter. Let's see, 2015. So no, probably not any significant value, except that it's cool. It's Star Wars and Lego, which and it's an adult size too, so that's even better. But in the past, we have found some real valuable T-shirts. Last week, we found a Perfect Circle T-shirt, band tee from like '97 or something like that. Looks like the value of that T-shirt is between like $120, $150, somewhere around there. So that was, one T-shirt out of dozens that we got out of those bags. So you certainly can find some valuable T-shirts here. Oh, this is Disney. This is a new Disney T-shirt, but Barcelona. So isn't there like a Disney? I think there's a Disney, some sort of park or something in Barcelona, Spain. But you can find really valuable T-shirts. Sometimes they take a while to go through a lot of bags. But I pay something like $6 per bag. Sometimes we get bags from another thrift store that they're $10. So all in all, for the year, we are well into the green for profit. So can't complain about that at all. Especially having fun uh, searching these bags for vintage tees and selling and finding some amazing T-shirts along the way. What do we have here? U.S. Polo Association, not to be confused with Polo Ralph Lauren, because they are not at all similar. But this is, of all the Polo Association T-shirts I've seen, this is one of the cooler ones, that's for sure. Made in Turkey. I don't know much about like how to tell whether or not they're vintage or not. Typically avoided that brand altogether. Oh, all right. So we have a vintage, like late '90s, early 2000s, like drug tea. Lose. Only users lose drugs. Maybe there's reverse. Only losers use drugs. It says no drugs, and I don't know if that's quite getting the message across. But it's vintage, so we're gonna hold on to it. So there you go. One vintage tea in the books. Not sure there's much value in it, but we'll see. You never know. I've actually made several volumes. Oh, we have a Harley tea. Don't think it's particularly old. It's made in the USA. Let's see, 2005. So that's not too bad. Not technically vintage, maybe, but Harley tees are always good. Can make some money off of Harley tees. What was I going to say about? I've made several volumes of videos on the subject of just T-shirts out of these bags that have like no business selling for what they do, and making $15-20 on some really random T-shirts. So you can pretty much sell anything on eBay given enough time and the right price. So, and more time, you can be a little bit less stringent on the price. So it's pretty amazing. That's sort of how this series actually ends up working out for us. All right, so we are coming down to the end of bag number 1. Most people watch this on playback, so welcome to you, those of you watching on playback. I do have kind of a couple of questions, sort of interesting topics to talk to you guys about today. One is I want to do a 2,000 subscriber giveaway of some sort. And I've been thinking about, what is this? Bandit. I don't know. I've been thinking about sort of how to do that, and what kind of giveaway could we do? We did one for 1,000 subs a while back, where we just sort of did a random giveaway. But I think I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting than that. And tell me what you guys think about this. Those of you who are resellers, because we do have quite a few resellers that watch the channel. Those of you who are resellers, what if I just did a video, sort of a giveaway, where you guys put your links to your stores, whether it's Etsy or eBay or Grailed or Depop or something like that, and we just picked a random store out of the lot to spend like $100 in. And I know, like, around Christmas time, like the holiday and fourth quarter, we're always trying to move stuff, and it's a big time typically for sellers. And a lot of these platforms, whenever you start selling things, it actually moves you up in their algorithms for the search. So I know that can be helpful. So if that's something you guys think would be fun, a cool video giveaway, way to do that, let me know in the comments below or here in the chat if you end up in the chat. Would love to hear your thoughts. So I think that would be fun. I'd love to see what you guys are selling. So if that's something that we decide to do, we'll release an entire video, just sort of setting that idea up. What do we got here? Mickey Mouse looks like it might be new. It is newer. It's Old Navy. Old Navy times Mickey Mouse. We also allow for questions in here. If you make it in live and you have questions about um, vintage clothing or whatever, just hit it in the chat below. I don't know what that is. Hit it in the chat in the chat, and I will try to do my best to answer vintage questions that you might have, or just about any questions you might have. So that's the buzzing of my phone saying that something sold. Yay! I don't know if you guys. I rarely keep the eBay sound effects on. With the cha-ching, which is always a nice thing to listen for, but I don't normally do it because I don't necessarily want to be walking through a thrift store and that sound be going off over and over. So fish fear me. Made in Mexico. Here, fishy. It's embroidered. I bet this could sell, actually. I bet it would sell. People love novelty fishing t-shirts. Easy gift for people. Oh, all right. So we're almost down through bag number 2. Very little in these 2 bags as far as like vintage items. This bag, particularly right here, is like very much full of new modern clothing. So the Salty Dog Cafe. So what we got here? We got a ringer of some sort. It is a Cardinals ringer from 2009. VF Imageware. They make a lot of stuff, particularly Harley stuff. We got a Mizzou modern t-shirt. Mizzou. I went to Missouri State University in Springfield, so somewhat state rivals. All right, nothing there. All right, almost down. What we got here? This is interesting. It's interesting because this is sort of single stitch. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's just got one line of stitching through here. But it's not a vintage t-shirt. It's actually universal thread, which I think is like a Target brand. So always got they're trying to sort of imitate the vintage stuff. So you just got to be aware that check out the video we did recently about vintage rules that aren't quite rules but more like guidelines. Got a little NASA tee here, little Star Wars tee. It's kind of funny. Is this like a license? Yeah, it's licensed. The other thing that was brought up this week that I thought was interesting. Oh, Game of Thrones t-shirt. Huh. I don't know if I know anyone that's really into Game of Thrones that would be interested in that t-shirt. Chiefs tee. You got to keep the Chiefs tee if you're in Missouri. Because, they're bound to go to the Super Bowl. And then when the Super Bowl rolls around, all the bandwagoners are looking for, something to wear to their Super Bowl parties. So, triple cycle. No. The other thing that came up this week, which is sort of an interesting idea, and it has really nothing to do with vintage clothing per se, though it has a lot to do with my story. Was an author friend of mine. I was telling him all about sort of like what I did post high school and how much. Oh, we got a vintage No Fear t-shirt that's all cut up. Golly, so annoying. Like all the boys around here, all the guys do this. Stop. I think this whole bag's gonna be full of this stuff. It's gonna make me mad. Anyway, my author friend, I've been telling him some stories about post high school and what I did. And back then I was a punk kid with, mohawks and dreadlocks and oh what wait no oh whoa okay we got a shoot a vintage shoot the immortal archetype skate tee. I think this is vintage. It's made in the USA. Uh, may not be. Shoot skate. It might be. I don't know. You tell me. But vintage skate company T-shirts are really, really valuable, or at least like the really older ones. But this one's good. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'll have to do a little more research on that. But that is a cool T-shirt potentially. But back to what I was saying. Um, so when I after high school, I hitchhiked and I rode freight trains illegally. Obviously, not I'm not condoning it at all, but definitely did that. And traveled the country and had all kinds of adventures. Did that for a couple of years, for months at a time. Lived off of lived out of dumpsters and slept under bridges and all kinds of stuff. And of course, there are other books like that, like Jack Kerouac's book on the road, and then you had Into the Wild, and everyone, there books like that exist about people traveling and all that stuff. So it's not completely a novel, but he thought some of my stories and some of my perspectives of within those stories would be a pretty interesting book. So I have, in the past, people have told me to write a book about all those stories, and at times I sat down to write and sort of jot down the memories. And I certainly tell the stories a lot. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm up to like the whole. Oh, we got a vintage Nike tee. This is money. Almost always money. It's got like embroidered patches here, made in Mexico, but this is like late '90s, I think. But always good. I just don't know if I'm up to the writing of everything and proofing and rewriting and proofing and writing, but but I don't know. It would be cool. I don't know. Would any of you guys read a book like that about uh, the crazy adventures of a young man discovering the United States and some of the underbelly of the United States and some of the most amazing things about the United States? So um, I think it might be fun. So if I'm on here in a year hawking a book, where it started from. But we'll see. We'll see. Could be fun. I certainly would be down to like tell some of those stories on here. Here's more Harley Davidson tees. This one probably not vintage, but definitely cut. It's from Mexico. Thanks a lot, hillbillies. Um, all right, so, but yeah, I'd definitely be down to tell some of those stories because some of them are pretty gnarly stories. More Harley, made in Honduras. Uh, this does not probably look like one that's 2005. I mean, it's a Harley tee and it's clean. You never know. I sell them pretty regularly, so might as well try since I already own it. You know what I mean? But all right, what's that? Interesting. All right, we are almost through this third bag, and we still have plenty of bags to go. I got an Oneida, yes, vintage single stitch Chiefs tee. Yes, there we go. 1993, and this thing is clean. Yes, very good. Yes, and it is clean. It is clean. Single stitch on an Oneida, Juanita, whatever you want to call it. Power 50 plus, made in the USA. Super good T-shirt right there. I mean, super good as in like, I mean, it's not going to sell for $100, but it'll sell for a solid $30 probably, or $25. And definitely is if the Chiefs get their butts in gear and actually start playing defense, and Mahomes stops throwing so many picks, um, so many for him, then yeah, that T-shirt could be, that could probably pretty close to pay for all the bags that we're going to open up tonight. So, good start, or good middle here. We go. What do we have here? Grand Canyon. Nope, not that old. I was surprised. I guess I'm always surprised. We had some. We sold a few like random tourist tees the last couple of weeks, and tourist tees, they don't typically fly off the shelves, and they're certainly not flying off the shelf. But there were some tourist tees that we sold that I just just did not expect to actually ever sell. So they got listed because we owned them, and you might as well try. And you know what? You got $15 out of it, so I'm not going to complain. All right, that's it for bag number 3. Still 3 more bags to go. Bag number 3 up here. Let's go. Let's get a little bit more vintage here. Let's get some more valuable T-shirts. Mini tee. Let's get some valuable T-shirts that are not cut down the sides and not ruined. That's what I want. I want to find some T-shirts that are not ruined. I did talk to. We got a Tweety bird. No, not old. This is like probably Walmart. I did talk to one of the employees that makes up these bags, and they told me that what they put in it normally is like T-shirts, extra T-shirts. They just don't have the space to sell. But anytime they have like questionable materials, like the T-shirt we had last week was a little risque, and so they didn't want to have their company associated with those clothing items, so they drop them in here. And so I get them. So far, that's probably one of the only T-shirts that I've ever pulled out of one of these bags that has been, a little bit edgy. So, but they also put like if it's a cigarette or tobacco T-shirt or beer, because they are with a hospital. Got a little Nike piece here. It's not vintage, it's youth size. They are like associated with the hospital charity, so yeah, they kind of have to watch the messages that they sort of promote. So I get that. And he did ask what he finally after months of being like the only buyer of any of these bags, he finally asked me what in the world I did with these bags, and I told him straight up what I did do with them. And he's like, wow. He's a little bit older guy, and so he just didn't seem to compute with him. So he's like, well, all right, well, sounds good. You keep buying, we'll keep making them. So that's, I mean, I don't think they're any the wiser as to what exactly I find in these bags that are particularly valuable. So they're just worried about moving donations from donation to sale, so they can keep up their business. Oh, what do we got here? Come on, let's see a good tag. Let's see a good. No, probably not. Nope. I was hoping to see a vintage tag, but it was not to be. All right, come on. One more good hit out of these T-shirts would be helpful, because that would be, we got another good solid tee that would give us a couple, 2 or 3 of them, which would increase the likelihood of paying back, getting these T-shirts, these bags paid off, somewhat quickly. But do remember, if you're here with us live, you're welcome to ask questions, vintage questions, completely off topic, random questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Faith. Kicking cancer for Kim. Go Kim. But yeah, questions are plenty welcome here. We're just hanging out. I'm just going through bags. Just doing what we do. I am also considering, just something I'm considering, and exploring what it would be if there's another night that this works better on. I know there's some people that try to get on, try to watch live, but don't get a chance to because of the schedule. Woo, all that dust. 2 more bags. As my phone continues to buzz. All right. All right, I have a good feeling about this one. Maybe. What is this? What is this? Okay. So, yeah, you find these occasionally. It's some Mickey and Minnie sleepwear. I think it's somewhat old. It's made in Turkey, but it's Mickey Unlimited. So this is probably technically vintage. I don't know. I don't know if there's a market for that type of stuff. Okay. All right. So somebody donated all their vintage. Okay. So there's some vintage. Okay. We got a pumpkin patch t-shirt, thin as can be, single stitch on the Sun tag, Sun Sportswear. Let's see. This is obviously fairly relevant for right now. So it's a big t-shirt, but it is vintage. So I said I had a good feeling about this bag. 2 vintage, garments right off the bat. As whimsical as they might have been, let's hope we can find a few more here. A few more. Next week, everybody, I will have been married. This Thursday, I will have been married 10 years. Yep, to my lovely wife, Katie. Just kicking back the Paradise Cup. This is a vintage tee, single stitch. So we're on the single stitch vein. There seems to be a number of single stitch tees. Here, this wild looking cat tee. I don't think that's not vintage. I don't think there's anything vintage about that. But we have another cat tee. Ooh, I think I'm sensing a theme here, everybody. We got Hatley. It's like sleepwear. It's like cat sleepwear. Gosh, this may not be as fun as I was hoping. Well, the pile's starting to collapse on itself. Come on, let's get a edgy band tee. Come on. God in Greenville movement. All right, come on, edgy band tee. Where's the another vintage tee? This one's by a brand called Tickles. These might all just be, and to all a good night. This may all just be like sleepwear. So these long t-shirts. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with that. Ugh. Okay. Well. So a cat lady must have donated all her sleepwear. That is real. Somebody who loves animals. We have no kangaroos in Austria. That's what this says. That's funny. This is on a European tag of some sort. I don't know if it's vintage or not, but it's a European tag. It's kind of a funny t-shirt. Okay, let's go. Oh, no. Nope. One day, you guys, we're going to stumble across we're going to stumble across some grunge band tee, some vintage grunge band tee, some Nirvana in utero or Sliver tee, and I'm just going to lose my mind. And if you're watching, you'll be here to witness it. If you're not, you'll have to watch them playback, but everyone will already have seen it, so you won't be there for the moment that it happens. Of course, everyone's going to be like, oh, you planted it. Not everybody. You guys are pretty cool about it, but somebody might say that. No. And this isn't fake because of how like. Oh, that's kind of cool. Um, this is kind of cool. London, England, embroidered here. I don't think it's vintage. It's like a crop top. Someone made it a crop top. So clearly, somebody who either from Europe, spent some time in Europe, and also loves cats. That's who donated recently to this thrift store. All right, what we got here. But yeah, this is told. This can't. I mean, the number of not good T-shirts I find in some weeks. I mean, these weeks I'm opening these just as live as you are watching them. So, some weeks we don't get anything. Some weeks we get one thing. Some weeks, So definitely not planting them. It'd be much more exciting if I was. But these are all. All right, looks like we're coming down to the wire here on this last bag. On this second to last bag. Oh, here's another one of those Lego Star Wars tees, but this one is a child's. I'd love to find like an OG. Hey, thanks. Yes, we are very excited for our 10-year anniversary. We're going to go to Tulsa. I'm going to go to some art museums in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, Tulsa peeps, if you guys are watching, we'll be in your town next weekend. Just say hi if you see us, but otherwise we'll be busy. We actually have to bring our youngest daughter along with us because she's still too young to be left with the grandparents. All right, last bag, everybody. Last bag, and we will see what this has to offer us. Hopefully not Old Navy. Hopefully a vintage banger in here to end the night. I know we had one last week, so it's greedy to ask for two in a row. But I feel relatively confident that with the t-shirts, we've at least covered our costs. So it's lifeguard tee. We've at least covered our costs probably with the t-shirts that we have here. So mostly what we'd be looking for after this is some profit. And I like to be profitable in our business. American Pride, Turkey Creek Ranch. So I don't know what that is. So what's interesting, and this is why any bag can hold a really good T-shirt, is that last week we got a perfect circle tee, which is like a band, sort of I think they're related somehow to Tool, and from the late 90s, and the rest of the bag had very little to do with. Had very little. Wait, was it? Huh? No. Had very little to do with. Oh. Okay. So we have a liquid blue tea. Royals, Kansas City Royals, which is funny because I never find Kansas City Royals stuff. But what's funny about this is that the other day I was at a thrift store out somewhere, some other town, and I found this T-shirt, and I was like, I don't know, should I buy it? Should I not buy it? I probably shouldn't buy it. It's new, so it's got the printed on the back here. It's not one of the OG, but it's a big old print, and it's super cool. And look what I got here. I got it for cents on the dollar. So that will probably sell because it's a cool T-shirt. So while it may not be vintage, it's definitely going to put us over the top with a little bit of profit on these bags here. I know the baseball season is ending, so we're running out of time to sell it. But it's a cool tee, and maybe it doesn't sell until next spring when baseball starts back up again or whatever. But either way, it's still pretty cool. We have an old vintage Columbia tee. I don't think there's much value to this T-shirt, honestly, but made in USA, Colombia. It is vintage. If it had a little bit more going on, I might actually keep it and sell it. But or if I hear otherwise, that one of you guys tell me that I sell vintage Columbia stuff all the time, then maybe I'll keep it. But some of those vintage outdoor brands do well. Obviously, like Patagonia and the North Face, it's vintage. It'll do well. Even the T-shirts will do well. Filson obviously will do well. Filson is like a cult following, so people pay ungodly amounts for like used Filson stuff, and that's because they have some great warranties and they'll do a lot of repairs to their stuff, even if you weren't the original buyer. So makes sense. All right, we're coming down to the wire on this bag here. We have, like I said, we have the game. Okay, so here's a vintage T-shirt. It looks like it's pretty ratty. The game made a lot of like some licensed stuff. So let's see what's actually here. Oh, St. Louis Cardinals. Nah, not my team. I'm much rather. I'm a much bigger fan of the Royals than I am of the. Oh, we have a Sun Force tee. Whoa. Okay. Single stitch Sun Force. Look at that. That's super cool. Single stitch Sun Force, super thin. Just like some patterns. Like this is the stuff I was wearing as a kid in the early 90s. So adult size too. That will probably sell right there. That T-shirt will probably get us $15 to $20. Like maybe more, but at least $15 to $20. And that was just sitting here on the bottom with the rest of the stuff, which is mostly not vintage. So so not bad at all. I'm not feeling like there's anything hidden in here as far as like vintage bangers, just from what I'm looking at. But we will review what we found here in just a second as we get to the last couple T-shirts. Remember, this green is not typically associated with vintage. Just not. They weren't making T-shirts all that color, and this is a blank. So that's it. That was all 6 bags. Let's go over some of the T-shirts that we did find. Sort of go back the way we came, and we have this Sun Force tee with just the cool graphics. Not vintage, but Kansas City Royals liquid blue tee. We have this big old 1993 Chiefs T-shirt, single stitch on an Oneida. That's a good tee. We did have a couple of random older Harley Davidson tees. We have this vintage Nike tee, which will do all right. We have this Shoot skateboard tee. I forgot about this. Made in USA. I don't know again about this particular T-shirt or this brand, but obviously it looks like they started in 1986. It's a double stitch, so I would guess at least probably no more than the late 90s on this guy, maybe early 2000s. So maybe if you guys know anything about this T-shirt, let me know. But that could be worth $30. We have this Fear Fish Me embroidered tee. I'm not super excited about that, but I could potentially flip it into a little bit of money. A Harley tee from 05. And then we have this drug users lose drugs. Only users use drugs. So I think it's only losers use drugs. I don't think that was really what they were going for, but maybe it was. Anyway, so that's what we found today. I guess that's probably $100, maybe all together. I spent $30. If everything, on the high end, $100. Who knows? Not too bad if I don't, not the greatest day, but not the worst day. So you take your victories and you take your, ties wherever you can get them, because, it's just a bunch of random bags. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like the comment. We asked a couple of different questions back in the rest of the video. So answer those questions. Give us an answer to those questions in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell to be reminded when we post, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.